The Law of One, Book 1, Part 56, Session 25, February 16, 1981. I am Ra. I greet you in the love and the light of the infinite Creator. We communicate now. Questioner. We shall continue with the material from yesterday. You stated that about 3,000 years ago, the Orion Group left due to diaspora. Was the Confederation then able to make any progress after the Orion Group left? I am Ra. For many of your centuries, both the Confederation and the Orion Confederation busied themselves with each other upon planes above your own, shall we say, planes in time-space, whereby machinations were conceived and the armor or light girded. Battles have been and are continuing to be fought upon these levels. Upon the earth plane, energies had been set in motion which did not cause a great deal of call. There were isolated instances of callings, one such taking place beginning approximately 2,600 of your years in the past in what you would call Greece at this time, and resulting in writings and understandings of some facets of the Law of One. We especially note that the one known as Thales and the one known as Heraclitus, those being of the philosopher career, as you may call it, teaching their students. We also point out the understandings of the one known as Pericles. At this time, there was a limited amount of visionary information which the Confederation was allowed to telepathically impress. However, for the most part, during this time, empires died and rose according to the attitudes and energies set in motion long ago, not resulting in strong polarization, but rather in that mixture of the positive and the warlike or negative which has been characteristic of this final minor cycle of your beingness. Questioner. You spoke of an Orion Confederation and of a battle being fought between the Confederation and the Orion Confederation. Is it possible to convey any concept of how this battle is fought? I am Ra. Picture, if you will, your mind. Picture it then in total unity with all other minds of your society. You are then single-minded, and that which is a weak electrical charge in your physical illusion is now an enormously powerful machine, whereby thoughts may be projected as things. In this endeavor, the Orion Group charges or attacks the Confederation armed with light. The result, a standoff, as you would call it, both energies being somewhat depleted by this and needing to regroup. The negative depleted through failure to manipulate, the positive depleted through failure to accept that which is given. Questioner. Could you amplify the meaning of what you mean by the failure to accept that which is given? I am Ra. At the level of time-space at which this takes place in the form of what you may call thought war, the most accepting and loving energy would be to so love those who wish to manipulate that those entities were surrounded and engulfed, transformed by positive energies. This, however, being a battle of equals, the Confederation is aware that it cannot, on equal footing, allow itself to be manipulated in order to remain purely positive. For then, though pure it would not be of any consequence, having been placed by the so-called powers of darkness under the heel, as you may say. It is thus that those who deal with this thought war must be defensive rather than accepting in order to preserve their usefulness in service to others. Thusly, they cannot accept fully what the Orion Confederation wishes to give, that being enslavement. Thusly, some polarity is lost due to this friction, and both sides, if you will, must then regroup. It has not been fruitful for either side. The only consequence which has been helpful is the balancing of the energies available to this planet, so that these energies have less necessity to be balanced in this space-time, thus lessening the chances of planetary annihilation. Questioner. Does a portion of the Confederation then engage in this thought battle? What percentage engages? I am Ra. This is the most difficult work of the Confederation. Only 4 planetary entities at any one time are asked to partake in this conflict. Questioner. What density are these 4 planetary entities? I am Ra. These entities are of the density of love, numbering 4. Questioner. Would an entity of this density be more effective for this work than an entity of density 5 or 6? I am Ra. The fourth density is the only density besides your own which, lacking the wisdom to refrain from battle, sees the necessity of the battle. Thus, it is necessary that fourth density social memory complexes be used. Questioner. Am I correct in assuming that both the Confederation and the Orion Group utilize only their fourth densities in this battle, and that the fifth and sixth densities of the Orion Group do not engage in this? I am Ra. This will be the last full question as this entity's energies are low. It is partially correct. Fifth and sixth density entities positive would not take part in this battle. Fifth density negative would not take part in this battle. Thus, the fourth density of both orientations join in this conflict. May we ask for a few short questions before we close? Questioner. I will first ask if there's anything that we can do to make the instrument more comfortable. I would also really like to know the orientation of the fifth density negative for not participating in this battle. I am Ra. The fifth density is the density of light or wisdom. The so-called negative service to self-entity in this density is at a high level of awareness and wisdom and has ceased activity except by thought. The fifth density negative is extraordinarily compacted and separated from all else. Questioner. Thank you very much. We do not wish to deplete this instrument. Is there anything that we can do to make the instrument more comfortable? I am Ra. You are very conscientious. As we requested previously, it would be well to observe the angles taken by the more upright posture of the entity. It is causing some nerve blockage in the portion of the body complex called the elbows. I am Ra. I leave you in the love and in the light of the one infinite Creator. Go forth then, rejoicing in the power and the peace of the one Creator, Adonai.